Hey everybody, welcome to Show It Live here on showittier.com. I'm Field and this is Liz.
It is Tuesday and we are so excited that you have joined us for another episode of Show It Live. This is our weekly webcast that our team here at Show It produces. Each week we bring on a different guest and we talk about the photography industry, we talk about being a creative, being a small business owner, and we are so excited because our guest today is live in studio.
Yeah. We always get to talk to super awesome people. It's really special to us when they're here in studio.
So much fun when we have an in-studio guest.
It's a good day.
It is a good day. Another day that's going to be really good is coming up soon.
Yeah. If empty your bellies, because at
Stop eating now.
Stop eating now. This is seriously, I'm going to have to prepare. At WPPI, we've been doing something 3 years in a row. This is the third annual Show It Tier dinner at WPPI, and it's at the Wicked Spoon at the Cosmopolitan. So if you are going to WPPI, even if you're not a Show It Tier yet, maybe you're a friend of a Show It Tier, there's definitely a great opportunity to get to meet some what I call brothers from other mothers and sisters from other misters. They're just great people, really awesome friends and photographers and other creatives in the industry. So you can find out more about that on our Show It Facebook page. There's an event tab, which is where we share these out. But you can go there to get
go and grab your tickets, because I get the emails every time someone buys a ticket and they're like going like hotcakes.
There's a handful. There's slightly more than a handful,
like a large handful, but not very large left. So we want you to come and join us. That's Sunday, March 6th. So that's the night before the trade show opens. And we're actually going to be at WPPI on the show floor. So we hope you come and visit us and give us warm hugs, because we love warm hugs.
We will have a Show It 5 booth at WPPI.
It's all about Show It 5.
Maybe a really important time to come by and
it's always a good time to come by and see the Show It team. We would love to see you. This week we also want to celebrate our Show It Tier of the week.
Yeah, so Ebby Lowry is a photographer from, I believe she's based out of Illinois. And she started photography just like her, but she was given a gift. So she wasn't very happy with her high school senior, like the sports pictures that were in the yearbook. And apparently her parents found out or something. She got a camera as a Christmas gift, and she's been addicted to photography ever since. But here's her beautiful site.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love her about section where it goes through the different things that she likes, and it tells that nice little story about how she got into photography.
That's true. I always love hearing people's stories, because everyone has something different, that sort of motivated them to start taking pictures. Yeah. That's great. Well, Ebby, congratulations. Thanks so much for being our Show It Tier of the week. And you can actually go to showittier.com to see an article about Ebby that Cassandra and John here on our team put together. Yeah.
And also something that we love to do here during the show is we have live chat open. So it's on your right, our left. On that side of Liz, you can log in, let us know where you're chatting from. I see Luke and Ashley Beasley. It's their first time watching live, so welcome. That's exciting. You get to be a part of the chat. Ask Ryan some sweet questions. You don't need to ask us anything, but you can ask Ryan all the questions, and we'll get to them as best we can. So and we have people from France. Jeremy Ellsworth is in from the Kansas City area. It's so great.
Without further ado, because she's here in studio. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, guys.
We are so glad that you are here.
I'm so excited too. So hopefully I won't cry or
no, please do.
Embarrass myself somehow.
This is just like Oprah.
Yes, it's just like we're gonna ask you all the really deep. So that I just
break down.
That's right. No, not at all. We
don't have tissue though, so good thing you wore long sleeves.
Only tears of joy on Show It Live. That's awesome. Well, we are so excited that you're here because you're really, really busy. Your life has gone from being a chaotic like mom, lots of stuff going on, to being like a full-fledged business owner, because something drastic happened in your business over the last like 9 to 12 months. Tell us about that.
So I was sitting there one summer. It was in 2014, and I realized I had no weddings and for the fall, completely out of nowhere. I realized that I'm sitting there. I've been trying to book these weddings. I'm supposed to be doing this full time. I'm a mom, and it's chaotic, and I'm crying at my desk because I can't seem to book any weddings. And so I reached out to Amy and Jordan, as any of the
as people do.
AJ, and they really, we had a mentorship, and during that mentorship, I had an Oprah moment. And that was when they encouraged me to make my business to not make it about what I think photographers should, like what their sites should look like, not what their business should be like, not what I
But you didn't need to be like everybody else.
Like what everybody else is saying, and to make the essence of my brand and my business who I am. And so I went home and sat down at the computer and I started with that about me. And with that about me, I completely went from, I love, and I have been photographing, I've always had a camera in my hand. All of those
generalities.
Things true. Yeah, 100%. To, hey, I'm 4'11", I'm the short person, I'm a girl with the boy's name.
This is true.
I laugh a lot. I, and I laugh really loudly. So, and I love wine. I watch Netflix like nobody's business. You and I have talked so much about like how to make it work. There's all these series that I watch. So I turned it more into who I was, because I wanted people, when they are looking at photographers, I wanted them to see who I am. I want them to know on the website and connect with who I am as a person, so that when we sit down together, they're actually just getting an affirmation of what they already saw online.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you were already, at this point in 2014, you were a fantastic photographer. Ryan and I have been friends for a while, and she would second shoot for me, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, can I just give her pictures? Because they were so good. So it wasn't for a lack of ability that you weren't booking. It was the maybe trying to be like everybody else and not just embracing who you were.
Absolutely, 100%. I feel like I was second shooting at least 20 weddings a year for at that point 3 years. So I had been busy, working hard on my craft and trying to improve my photography style. But when it came to being a business owner and putting myself out there, I didn't know the first thing about it. And I felt stuck. And I also, when I would second shoot for you, I wouldn't take advantage of those images that I had and blog about them.
Right.
And, I just kind of put them away on my computer, and, it didn't show any activity on my website. It didn't show that I was actually doing things. And so I want to encourage anybody who feels like they're stuck and they don't know what to do, that just tiny steps. That's all this has been, is just one foot in front of the other. And doing those tiny little steps has caused me to gain more and more momentum. And I feel like it's just changed everything. Just these little changes that I've made.
So your inquiries have gone from how many in a month to like how many in a week?
So I would say that I maybe got one a month before, to usually I get about 3 or 4 inquiries a week. And when I get these inquiries, sometimes they're like way, like they're for 2017, which is awesome. I'm super excited. So like, so it's not like the immediate weddings for 2016, but I embrace that. Like instead of trying to come up with like a new pricing structure for 2017, oh, you inquired too soon. Like
you got in too early.
Yeah, like, oh, I got to charge you more.
Penalty of some sort, I don't know.
I try to treat them like I would want to be treated. And so that's why on my website, my pricing information is out there, like everything, not just what I start at, but like every detail of it, because what I'm trying to do is establish a connection. If they are reading the about me and they're connecting with me in that capacity, then they look at the pricing and they know everything about it. And then when they, send an inquiry, then we're able to meet, and we don't discuss any of that pricing stuff. It's not a business meeting. Now it's more like a first date.
Yeah.
And
it's so fun.
I get to see.
Do you buy them chocolates or flowers?
Yeah.
Or...
Wine. Why didn't I think of that, Field? Oh, I got to step up my game.
Seriously. Your first date.
It's true. I need to pick them up.
You're not going to have any weekends left.
No,
you step up your game.
It's going to be, oh gosh, man, I should let my husband know I've been dating people.
No, see, that's the thing. Like, you become a husband-wife team. Steve looks pretty snazzy. I mean, he can dress up. I saw him in a pretty sweet suit.
He's very creative.
But, and just treat it like a double date.
Oh, there you go. That's like a whole new
Next
realm
level.
for me.
Next level.
Oh, I love it.
So you don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation about price, because you actually put everything in a pricing guide it's up on your site, right?
Yeah.
It's just a link that they can click on and they can download a PDF.
Yeah, and that's what I love. One of the things about Show It, is that with your websites, you can have that link in it to where you can click on it. It opens it up into a PDF, and they're able to see all of that. And then I also send it when they send the email, reaching out to me. And I try to make sure, so if all of this is kind of like online dating in a way, and they're looking at my profile, essentially they're reading about me, trying to get to know who I am. They get to know the pricing. And from there, when they like take that first step to reach out to me, I make sure that I try to get back to them as soon as possible. So initially, when I wasn't getting I would get inquiries here and there, and I wasn't responding as quickly as I could. And I'm not sure why. But I realized so many times the first sentence is, "Thank you so much for getting back to me so quickly." And that's probably because they're like me. If I want to know, are you available for my date, or is this car on the lot right now? Like, I want to know. And so I want to know as soon as possible. And I don't want to inhibit that process of us like getting to know each other. Like, they're taking the first step. So I want to reciprocate.
You're excited when you ask someone.
Yeah. Like, hey, will you go out with me?
So this was a series of a bunch of little steps.
100%.
The about section, like your first step in that, you'd say?
100. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. It was my first step in the personalization of my brand, of really making everything as open and honest about who I am, my personality, because it's really important that they know that this is who I am and that I love what I do. I want to put that out there. I want it to not only show in my images, but I want it to show in the experience that they have with me.
And you're careful with what you don't put on there. I'm bad at responding to emails.
Or I haven't folded. I've got like 5 loads of laundry that's not folded. No, I don't put that.
That's a pro tip.
So Jeremy Ellsworth was asking in the chat, he wanted to know, this big change in your business, was it all about like just changing the about section, or was it more about like a total rebrand?
So I didn't do like an official rebrand. I had already, if you look at my website, like it's very, it's got clean lines. I try to make it look like a magazine so that the focus is on the images, the focus is on the content. So I didn't rebrand. I didn't get a new logo. I didn't do any of those things. What I did was I broke down really what I wanted to stand for as a photographer, what my intentions were, what my focuses are. And then used those ideas to change every aspect of how I conducted business. So I started with the about me, and then I continued with how I respond to emails. So I don't treat them like targets when they, email me. They're not targets to me. These are individuals. And I mean, recently I met with a couple, and when they emailed me, they had been engaged 2 weeks. So that's like super exciting. Like, you're still really excited. Like,
you're on a high.
Yeah, like he asked me to marry him.
He just got off.
Really? Yeah. You guys have been together 4 years. This is awesome.
It's the other way. It's not when you get off the phone. It's the other thing you do. You shouldn't have your like ringtone or text tone be a cha-ching when the Show It robot comes in.
No, well, I do have it as a different sound.
Yes.
Because I do want to notify myself. Yeah, like, hey, this is
a celebration.
Yeah, this is awesome. Somebody reached out. But yes, it's not about the bottom dollar. I'm not trying to monetize every single interaction that I have with people. I really am trying to like see them as individuals. I'm happy for them. I'm genuinely excited. Like, I mean, who wasn't excited when they got engaged? So that's,
I couldn't believe she said yes.
Yeah, I wish there had been social media back then.
Yeah,
oh my goodness, I would have posted it everywhere. So, but when they come to you though, when you get an inquiry, because your pricing is out there, they're more qualified, aren't they? Like,
100%.
They've already looked at that most likely.
Yeah, so they've looked at it, and like a good example is online dating. I have no idea why
I put my prices out there for online dating.
Yeah.
That's not.
I'm not even on. I'm married. I'm not on an online dating website, but apparently I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah. Apparently you go on a lot of dates.
Yes, I go on dates. Oh my gosh. An example would be that if there was like an online dating site and there's a guy that you're interested in or a girl that you're interested in and like you're interacting and then you find out he lives in Iceland, like that's going to hinder that date. Like, and, you know, if I'm here in Phoenix and he's here in, you know, here or there in Iceland, then that's going to be an issue. So it's establishing. I hear so.
And not covered in ice. That's Greenland.
Yes. I know. It's very confusing.
Geography.
I know. Yeah. No, but I mean, then it lets them know like we're on the same, not even just the same continent, but it's like, hey, instead of, you know, for those of you that aren't from the Valley of the Sun, from Phoenix, we, you know, so Liz and I live about an hour and 45 minutes away from each other. So sad. It's incredible.
But when you tell people, you're like, I live in Phoenix.
Yeah, and you're in the same county, but yet, you know, and so on the East Coast, you could be in a whole nother state. So for us, you know, it's also, it would be like if somebody lived in East Gilbert and I live in Northwest Peoria. So it's me expressing like, here's where I'm at. And if you're in that same location, then let's, you know, like take the next state, or the next step. Yeah.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah, let's take it to the next level.
That's where food gets involved.
That's awesome. So you went from how many weddings did you shoot in 2014 to like how many are you shooting in 2016?
So in 2014, I shot 4 weddings. Okay. So I want people to know that
by yourself, you second
for
shot.
myself, I second shot,
Sure.
So in 2010, 2011, 2013, all those years, I'm second shooting a ton, but I am only shooting about 3 to 5 weddings of my own a year. And I think because I was focused more on being like a second shooter and getting in there, but I didn't really focus on my own business and how I was putting myself out there, how I was conducting myself. And so it went from 2014, I, you know, had those many, and then I went to 2015. In 2015, I shot 15 weddings, and then now in 2016, I have 33.
Nice.
And then in 2017, I'm up to 4. So I feel like the big difference was the experience that, you know, I was having in the connection. Like I was really starting to connect with people. And for me, it wasn't just connecting on the website, connecting during our first date, but it's connecting during the wedding. And, you know, I'm genuinely excited for these people. It's not falsity. Like I'm not like, oh, I'm super happy, you know, about marriage. And then meanwhile, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to work. Like, I'm excited to go to work.
But I don't want to be home. So, but a big part of this, and you keep talking about this first date experience, and you have this beautiful magazine.
Yes.
What is a part of this first date?
So one of the things is I want to also be a resource. So not only do I want to connect, but and establish like a friendship with my couples, but I also want to be a resource to them because we do this on a regular basis, and this is their first time going through all of this. And if they just got engaged 2 weeks ago, they might have just only picked out their venue, right?
It can be overwhelming.
Yeah, and then they're like, what do I do next? So this is called the Bride's Guide, and I think we can put a link to it. It's a template, and in it is just essentially like a bunch of images, and it's awesome. Like if you've never seen your images in print, it's pretty neat.
It's pretty good feeling.
But in here, it's just there's little informations about what I think is important about my why I'm doing this. It goes a little bit more in depth because the website is to initially just kind of draw and make that connection, see if we got something in common, and then do that.
It's like checking out their online profile.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't want to hear all about me quite yet. So I send them home with this because I think it's something neat to hand over to them, but it also goes into like a sample timeline. It goes into ideas for because I get this question a lot and I can barely dress myself, people. It comes with this template that actually has like the little tips on what to wear for an engagement session because they don't know. Most couples haven't had pictures taken together, so they don't know the first thing about it. And then that way it saves me from giving them bad advice, like wear matchy stuff. Like I don't know what.
Jeans and white shirts.
Jeans and white shirts. Absolutely, yeah. But what the most important, I think, aspect to it is, I don't know if you can see this, is on page 37. I always, at some point, we end up talking about their wedding day and what they're excited about, the venue and what their favorite part of the venue is. And then usually they go, I don't know what time our ceremony should be. Or I don't even know like how long is 8 hours, like what does it cover?
Great.
And so I'm able to have them open it up to a specific page, and it's a sample timeline. It gives them an idea of what, how long each thing takes. And then I feel like that right there, a lot of times they feel like a lot of relief from that.
Sure.
But then in there also I have like some preferred vendors that I love working with. And so for those of us who have people that they think that are just amazing, their work is amazing, and they're fun to work with, that's like an opportunity for me to be able to share that. Because like you said, they're a little overwhelmed. They may not have a florist yet. They may not have a dress and stuff.
Well, a lot of times you're the second vendor they've come to, right?
Yes.
They've chosen a venue that maybe they've been thinking about for a while. They've checked to see if the date is available. And then you're the very next person that they're going to meet with.
Yes, exactly. And I feel, when I didn't have any weddings to shoot, like my desire was to have a reason to interact with the other vendors. And I didn't know how to do that. And so once I did start getting weddings, it was a great opportunity for me to reach out and be a part of a team.
Yeah.
And so I really see us as a team, the florist. Like I wouldn't have things to take pictures of, like these beautiful pictures. Like if she wasn't in a gorgeous dress, if she didn't have the beautiful bouquet in her hand and stuff. And so that's another major, to answer Jeremy's question, where I worked on my business, was that how I interact with the vendors, because I don't see them as something, once again, that I can monetize. Like, hey, can I get on your list? It's nothing about that. My intent is to give them images from that day, because they worked hard. If anybody's ever shown up early to a wedding and you go into the reception room, you'll see the coordinator, working with people, or the wedding planner who's been working for months on this. And so I want to show them like the final product. I feel like that's my job. Like they made these beautiful bouquets, they did the centerpieces. My job is to like show them what that looks like after they left, because they don't get to be there the whole day like I do.
Well, and then it makes you a resource for those vendors, because we all know everybody needs beautiful photos of their cake and of their floral designs that they've done, and no one is better to do that than the wedding photographer.
Yeah, exactly.
Professional photographer.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you have almost 40 weddings this year and next year on your calendar. How are you managing all all of that? Are you using a spreadsheet, or have you like upped your game there?
It's all paper.
Sticky notes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's all paper.
Around
I've
the
got
mirror.
all kinds of stuff going on my computer now. I use Tave or Tave to keep my sanity.
Yeah.
And one of the awesome things about that is that it's a village. For any of you that are parents and are starting to book weddings and are like, how do I who's going to watch my kids while I go and do meetings, and who's going to watch my kids on the weekends and stuff. What was really neat is that I'm able to share my calendar of my booked stuff. So I sent it over to my mom. Well, I did it for her. I put it on her phone for her. My husband has it. My sister has it. Like anybody who I might possibly need to reach out, so that they kind of have an idea in advance. Like, oh, it looks like Brian has a date tonight. And, and so my mom knows, like, oh, on Thursday, she might need me to watch our daughter, Chloe. So,
well, and you shared it out with me, because we sort of had this like unwritten rule that should something happen to one of us, we don't want our husbands to have to be trying to figure out how to fulfill what needs to be done. And we have such an amazing show it to your community. It would not be difficult to find other photographers and people to help you, but you got to know, like, what wedding still needs to be edited? What wedding has been sent out to the editor?
Exactly. And it's got tasks and everything, and I check them off as I go, because otherwise I wouldn't know what's coming next. Do I have an album that I need to, deliver to somebody?
Right.
Now, speaking about what's coming next, something happened yesterday.
What?
In your world, to your website?
What?
No. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Apparently, I don't either. We're just counting to see you next Tuesday.
No, You got a little update to your website.
I did. It was something that I was like so excited to share, and I didn't want to say anything to anybody about it until it was time.
And now it's time.
And now it's time.
Let the cat out of that bag.
So that is my new website.
And what's your website built on?
Show It 5.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And those of you that are on your phones, oh my gosh, the mobile version is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is a canvas view that JT has been showing right now. It says, "Hello, I'm Ryan," but then they can see a little bit more about you and you actually photographing one of your couples, which I love.
Do you see that? How short I am? It's just ridiculous.
So tiny.
It's a way to take a step stool. That's totally acceptable.
I have a 16-inch step stool. Like, that's how short I am. It's not even the normal height step stool. It's super ridiculous. I have to do squats in order to be able to step up on it. But I love that it's got the clean lines that my other website had. I was able to make my blog match what the website. I mean, I feel like it's flawless of a transition between, from one to the other.
That integration.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it flows, and it's everything that I could imagine. Like, Show It 5 is just incredible. So
we're excited to have you on as the latest Show It 5.
It took everything out of me not to yell it from the
you embedded your Instagram feed down at the bottom.
I did that,
which is
guys.
really cool.
It's awesome. I highly suggest it because you take all this time to do your social media stuff, and it's kind of neat because sometimes they might not click it right away.
Sure.
And so this is actually giving them, like, I think it's the first 5 pictures or the last 5 pictures that I posted.
Preview of Ryan's.
Yeah. So,
Instagram.
and then, I think that it's perfect because then if they see that, then they are, drawn to like go and see more of my social media.
Go clicks on that. And Instagram looks pretty good on a computer nowadays. And you can follow people on there. So I love it. I think it's great. Yeah, you did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yay! Congratulations on being one of the first Show It 5ers.
Show It 5ers.
Show It 5er. For lifer.
Oh my gosh.
I'm the Dr. Seuss of Show It.
Clearly, like, when we shot together, there was a lot of giggling.
Oh, we had a lot of step stools, you guys.
So many step stools.
Everyone is under 5'1", and we end up with really tall grooms. I don't know why that.
They're always 6'5" or taller. It's ridiculous. My husband's 6'1", and I thought that was tall enough. But then now I have all these grooms that I'm not even as tall as their armpit. Yeah. So it's just
and thus the step stool is really necessary. So Ryan, I'm sure for a lot of people out in the chat, they would love just a little bit of advice. Like, you said, like, put your personality into it, and your personality is so fun and so authentically you. What are some other things besides like emailing quickly back has been a really big one for you?
Absolutely. I feel like if you really sit down and figure out, like, so I know we talk about your why and, and stuff, and that your why can be more nostalgic and emotional and stuff. But I was meeting with a photographer out here locally a couple months ago, and when I walked in, she was super excited because they had butterbeer, and I didn't know what that was.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so it's from Harry Potter.
Okay.
And like, she's excited, and I thought it was beer, and I was like, hey, it's 11, but like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's not alcoholic.
There's a meal.
I'm like, I'm not gonna judge you.
There's a meal where you can't have alcohol, and it's breakfast, and you can have that as early as you want in the day.
Oh, but you can make
mimosas
for
That's
breakfast.
true.
Yeah. Well, but it was neat because in that conversation she mentioned that, and she also mentioned like Doctor Who, and my sister's obsessed with Doctor Who. She's got it like all over her car and stuff. And so I know those that love Doctor Who, like, that's a hardcore group.
Yeah,
like,
what a TARDIS is.
Yes, exactly. I think it's a dirty word.
Yeah, it's like, what? No, it's okay.
But so I really encouraged her because she was feeling, she's a mom. She's trying to get her business off the ground, and it was a very similar situation that I felt like we connected in that capacity. And I felt like that later that night I went to her website and I read her, like, I looked at her bio and stuff, and it had really fun stuff, the things that she likes, but it didn't have the essence of the person that I talked to that day for a couple hours. And so I wrote her and I said, you love Harry Potter. It's clear because I had no idea what this butterbeer stuff was.
Yep.
And you mentioned Doctor Who and, you know, all these other things are the things that make you smile, like that brighten your day, that you fill your life with, that you sit and watch on the weekends. There are people who love that as much as you do. You know, that is a huge connection point. They're going to want somebody who understands Doctor Who, because when you go and see their cake topper and it's got a TARDIS on it, like that's something, you know, that they like want somebody to appreciate. Like that photographer is really going to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Somebody else, it might be lost on them, and that's okay. But it's more, you know, like you're a perfect fit for somebody who, you know, is looking for a photographer who really gets them.
Yeah.
And so you want to put who you are out there so that they can connect and see that, like, hey, she gets me too.
Right.
And I really feel like, you know, some of the other things that I did was, so for those of you that are like, how do I even get started? I have 0 weddings. I have no idea. You know, that kind of stuff. I encourage you to consider advertising or a like bridal show or something. Like if there's 0, it's kind of hard to get that ball rolling.
Yeah.
And so if you have the intention of getting a ball rolling and kind of getting that momentum going, one foot in front of the other, I would do the free stuff first. I would, you know, identify and set that business stuff up, put your pricing out there if you're comfortable with that. And then, you know, from there, when you do advertise or if you did a bridal show, then you're able to make that connection with those people. And it's less of like where people say, oh, people are price shopping. Well, I don't know about you, but I price shop when I go to the car dealership. Right.
Yeah.
I want to drive that Audi Q7, but I'm going to drive the Kia, you know, Sportage. So like, that's what I drive because that's what I can afford. So I, you know, don't be afraid to put your pricing out there. And I see that somebody was saying that they're not confident about putting their prices out there. And is it, Ashley, I'm not sure if you can answer this, but what is holding you back? What's making you feel not so confident about it?
I think a lot of people, this comes down to a confident thing. Like, you know, our pricing starts at 4,000 or 6,000. I can't remember. And it's like, okay, we're going to put that out on the internet. It's like, that means that somebody, if in order to want to book me, they know they're going to be paying $6,000.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, you're priced where you're at for a reason.
Yeah, right. 100%. I feel like that is such a big, you know, statement because I had to take a step back. And I think it's Caitlin James that talks about like the 3 E's of pricing, like experience, equipment, and oh gosh, I just did that.
I don't know. I know the 5 C's of clarity or of diamond.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sure.
Nice. Did
Clarity,
that stick with you for all these years? That's awesome. Well, anyway, one of the things I realized was when I was booking 3 to 5 weddings a year, I really, maybe though I had a lot of experience as a second shooter, I didn't necessarily have as much experience as a lead photographer. And I pulled my pricing down a little bit. And I was afraid, I didn't want to put my pricing out there because I didn't want other photographers to see and go, oh, she's only charging, you know, $2,000. And
well, she must really stink.
Yeah.
Nobody actually does that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, and if they are, they're
No, but
not
we're all
busy.
saying she should be charging more. She's so good.
Well, in the end, they're not, like, if they have time to go to your website and look at your pricing, then they're not busy,
They're not
working. Doing their own thing. So worrying about that. But the big, conversation, I was nervous about doing it too. And I had this long conversation with my husband about it. And he goes, does your pricing change when you meet with the couple? Like, is it going to change from when they went to your website to when you met with them? And like, does it change based on how much you like them? Does it change based on the venue? Like, does your pricing ever change? And I said, no, it's not like with cars, like, let me see how much.
Yeah. Right.
Let me run your.
Exactly.
I'm not running Ryan's dealership.
You owe me another $70.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I think you can, after
There's a
hearing
signing
of the venue
fee
that you're having this wedding at, like, I think you can pay me a little bit extra. No, nothing's going to change. So that's, regardless, I'm going to, whether or not they email me and ask for it, or whether or not it's on my website. Either way, I'm going to provide them with that.
Yeah.
And so they're going to get it. And what I was experiencing as somebody who wasn't booking a ton at the time was a lot of heartbreak. So I would get excited, like, oh my gosh, I got an inquiry. Oh my gosh. And so I would respond, and then I would say, here's my pricing information, yada, yada. And then sometimes it was crickets.
Yeah.
And then I would, feel bummed. Like, why didn't they like me? What was going on? And it was just that I was in Iceland.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, another thing about that is it won't stop the emails. Sometimes you get an inquiry.
Yeah.
Prices? It's like, I love you too. Sure, here are my prices. Like, let me tell you all about it. It doesn't stop those, but it certainly helps. And it also helps people say, oh, you know what? I really love this person. I can't afford them. There's nothing wrong with that, because you're also not going to be spending your time and your energy saying, hey, like, I know we're $3,000 apart on pricing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I love you. And it's like, yeah, but we're $3,000 apart on pricing. Like,
Right.
And you hit it on the nose. As a mom and anybody out there that's a parent, like doing that client meeting, as fun as it is, and as much, my husband gives me a hard time, like, oh, you got to go to work. You get to go to happy hour or something.
Oh, enjoy Postino.
Yeah, exactly.
I will. Thank you.
But I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So I'm either paying a sitter.
Yeah.
I'm asking my husband, to it's his job. So, but I'm usually asking my mom, or my husband might have to come home early from work. There's a lot of juggling that goes involved in, that's involved in that. And so I want to know that when I'm meeting with somebody that, like, we're already on the same page. And like you said, we're not $3,000 apart. And the way that I've been able to do that is just by kind of thinking about how I want to experience things as a consumer. And one of the things was that I helped a bride recently try to find some stuff like for her wedding. And it was interesting because nobody has prices. The florist stuff doesn't have prices. The venues don't have prices. So they are actually having to do this for every single part of their wedding.
Work.
Yeah. And so for me, I was like, one less thing would be awesome, for them to have to.
It seems like it makes you less of a commodity, because now they're buying you. They know that they can afford you if they reach out to you, and they're buying you because they like you. They're buying you for you. And people do need to know what the price is, even if they're spending $10,000 or $2,000. It comes down to, that's one of the questions we're going to ask is, what does this cost, and then deciding whether or not that makes sense for them, and
exactly
they can afford it. So I like that it's just sort of off the table, and you get to focus on you and making that connection.
Another one of those things, your inquiries may go down, but your bookings shouldn't
go.
Because the people who can afford you at whatever point you're giving them the prices, they're going to know, like, hey, I can afford you. If they think, oh, I love this person, I'm going to stretch my budget, they're going to do that if they know your prices up front or afterwards. It's just one of those things, like, and that's the quality of a great about section. That's the quality of being authentic and who you are and who you represent yourself to be. Because if you already present that, they know they love you in advance. So I think
I see that David is asking if about the social media stuff.
Yeah.
So it was. So I didn't know how, like,
you weren't showing me that you were busy.
No, I felt awkward. I felt like going and posting a picture was like, look how awesome this picture is. I took this picture, guys, like it. And
totes, use my fave cam.
Sweet. And so that was also one of the things that Amy and Jordan really, like, we talked a lot about, and they encouraged me to see it from a different perspective of getting to celebrate these couples that, and then, help out. So if I was second shooting and I had images of bouquets and stuff like that, those are ideas for people. Yeah. And so I might post a picture of a bouquet, or like, isn't this the cutest little tutu, flower girl in a tutu?
It really is the cutest.
Yeah. and so it started showing activity instead of when they went, all of us do it. Like, if you go to somebody's website and then you don't see anything recent, then you're like, oh, they must not really be doing anything. And so I think part of me was a little afraid to put myself out there. And if anybody goes to my Facebook, you'll see I only have like 500 and something likes. Like, it's not like I have a bunch. And so my mother-in-law and my friend Abby are like my biggest cheerleaders. Like, I get, you'll see, like,
they like everything.
Yeah, and they're awesome. Like, they are like clockwork. But a lot of times I was also feeling a little insecure about posting stuff because I would post it and it might get 2 likes. And then you almost want to delete it instead of just like, only 2 people liked it. But the fact is whether or not
those 2 people
yes,
very well. One birth to you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Mom, thank you so much. But the other thing is to realize that sometimes people aren't liking stuff, but they're seeing it. And they may see it and they may say like, you know what I just saw? A really cute picture to their best friend after they find out that they got engaged. Like, you should totally see this or that. And so with social media, like I started making those efforts. Like that's one of those one foot in front of the other. And so I really want you to, like, if you feel nervous about putting anything out there, don't. I promise you there's somebody that's going to like it. And to this day, I still have, like, you can scroll through my feed. There's times that it's like 4 people liked it. And that's okay. I'm okay with that because I'm not posting necessarily for the likes and the affirmation that like, yay, people like my work. I'm posting it because a bride that may come across my website is going to potentially click on to my social media. And the website is just a limited amount of images. They need to be able to see my most current work. And the way they can do that is by seeing what I did on Saturday. And so I post one from every engagement session, one from every wedding. I try to make sure that it's, something that somebody can refer to. It's almost like a reference to a snapshot in time instead of worrying about the likes. Although I woke up this morning and like a ton of you guys started following me on Instagram and I was like, woo, yeah. That's awesome. So I'm like excited.
So at least like one thing before you unfollow.
But the consistency obviously matters. You started blogging on your blog on a regular basis. And I think that, I've struggled with that. If you don't blog, you might be really busy and that's why you're not blogging, but it looks like
how many years did we talk about blogging?
For a year. We used to lay out by the pool and talk about we should be blogging.
Yes. You should have been writing your blogs, talk about laying by
as
the
we were
pool.
laying. Why didn't we do that?
I don't know.
It's fun.
It is. It's huge. And, I'm totally in trouble because I haven't been blogging as much as I should, but I have been doing it, and I try to make a once a week effort.
Get this beautiful blog now.
Yeah, I know. I'm totally excited to just dive in and start blogging like crazy. But I try to, because that's also I just had a bride who we were talking about engagement session locations. And she sent me a link to a blog post I did, and she goes, "I want to shoot here." And it was like, oh wow, somebody actually looked at my blog.
No, I've been there. Oh wait, those are my pictures.
This isn't something from Pinterest. Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
How great is that when a bride shows you your photos? Like, I want that.
High fiving all over the place.
So
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks
for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I hope that this really helps people, and you aren't alone, Star. I've been through the confidence and the insecurity and I still am insecure about every step of the way, but I keep moving, and it's the momentum that's changed everything. So.
And look at how much momentum you have had in the last 12 months is just,
keep working hard.
Totally possible.
Yeah.
Hashtag hustle, right?
Yes. No, I do. I reference it all the time. I'm like, Field would love this.
It's so great. Okay, thank you once again for being here and being a part of this. Guys, thank you for joining us. You can join us next week.
Yes, come back next week. Stuart Thorokill is going to be here, and he's going to be talking about how to sort of hone your portfolio down and really curate, which is such an important thing. And that's actually something you can learn more about if you sign up for our 5 weeks to a better brand series. We're doing that now. It started last week with Jasmine Starr, this week with Jamie Delane Watson, and we've got 5 weeks of emails coming your way. It's totally free to be a part of it, and it will help you get to having a better brand. And so it's going to dovetail really nice with Stuart's show next week.
Yeah, awesome. Guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.